Hi, welcome to AnimeCons TV. This is our feedback episode for June 2014. I'm Patrick Delahanty, and every month on AnimeCons TV, if you've been watching a while, you know that we like to go into our mailbag and check our voicemail and respond to all the feedback that you guys have sent in. And so we've got a couple long emails this month and a voicemail, so let's get started. Our first email comes from James, the Dark Kiba, who writes, Dear AnimeCons TV, hello, I'm the guy who wrote to you guys and replied back to you in your October 2013 feedback episode by Doug and Elizabeth. Well, I followed your advice and went to Anime Boston this year. It was my first East Coast anime convention and I want to go back. Shiva and Sketch were right in stating about bag checks at the entrances and how some people were going to go on power trips. Sadly, my mom and I didn't stay at any of the hotels attached to the Heinz Convention Center, which would have been very convenient, and I didn't even go to the manga library, which I will do next time. Regardless, Anime Boston was great, and I especially loved how big the dealer's room and Artist Alley were. I also loved the AMV contest, which is one of my favorite con activities, and how big that room was. In ending, thank both Doug and Elizabeth for their advice and kind words. I would love to do more con hopping, as you guys do, and you should stop by NondiscCon, which is Denver, Colorado's anime convention, and the one that I've been going to since 2007. Thank you all, and please keep making videos as I enjoy them, and I will try to send in more con reports of my own. Sincerely, James the Dark Kiba. P.S. I try to look for you guys at Anime Boston, but didn't find you. That's okay, and hopefully we can meet at future con sometime. Well, thanks for writing in, James. Actually, I have been to NondiscCon. I was a guest there in 2004, and Denver is one of my top 5 cities. I love it, and I would love to go back to NondiscCon sometime. And I don't know, maybe since I'm on the West Coast, it'll be easier to get to. But yeah, and if they invite me, even more reason to get back there. As for Anime Boston, I was doing game shows there. So if you went to any of the game shows, you would have found me. I'll be doing that next year too, so you should be able to find me easily. Robin, or Sketch and Shiva were in the masquerade, and Gail was in there too, and I think Elizabeth, and yeah, you would have seen them in the masquerade. And Doug was also on staff. He was facility staff, so he was easy to spot if you saw somebody running back and forth between the hotel and the convention center a lot. But yeah, I'll be back next year as far as I know, and yeah, hope to see you there. Our next email comes from Jefferson. This is a kind of long one here, so bear with me, but we do like convention reports, and he sent in a convention report for AnimeNEXT. He writes, Hi guys, well, another AnimeNEXT weekend has come and gone. From the looks of things, all forces aligned to make this one of the best experiences fans in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area could actually hope and wish for. This year, ANeXT expanded in another nearby venue, the Hotel Somerset Bridgewater, and thereby split panels programming amongst this hotel and also the Doubletree Hotel. While access to the new hotel caused some concern for convention attendees, the main complaint being that the walk involved using a road connector bridge above the interstate, the new function space allowed for greater choice and bigger rooms for the attendees. The LARP was moved there as well, but they operate as their own thing, so there wasn't much to gripe about. As far as the weekends in early June go, the weather actually cooperated greatly with no rain clouds to dampen any spirits and lots of good sunshine and low humidity. Temperatures managed to stay around the low 80s throughout. That said, I suppose the good weather contributed to what seems to be a major bump in attendance figures for this con, with the currently unofficial count of over 11,000 warm bodies. This was enough to keep many con staffers on their toes just to wrangle everyone appropriately and in place. It seems everyone in attendance got their money's worth and were entertained by the variety of guests and panelists that AnimeNEXT brought in this year. Of note were members of Studio Trigger, Kill La Kill, who also provided some insight on the process for anime in Japan. Also, Daryl Surratt and Gerald Rathkold from the Anime World Order podcast, among other things, brought their A-game with many informative panels. And you can't forget the indomitable Charles Dunbar in his usual font of wisdom in his own entertaining style. And side note, these guys have all been guests on our podcast, and they're great. And if you see their panels, definitely go check it out. A-list panels. Anyway, he continues. Actually, one of my highlights was a late-night panel with Jonathan Klein and Michelle Knotts discussing the wonderful world of Ikitosen. Yeah, you probably had to be there. Snark. Special guest appearance by Bill Rogers and Greg Hauser, by the way. Fun times. Musical guest Rookie is Punked almost brought the Garden State Exhibition Center down with a full house crowd for their Friday night concert. And the Sunday performance of Luna Haruna also similarly wowed the audience. Overall, I think this is a very successful event for AnimeNEXT this year. While the numbers for attendance have pretty much bumped up since last year's convention, it's becoming clear that the current location in Somerset, New Jersey doesn't appear to be a good fit for much longer. I guess I should qualify that this is my own observation, but I have heard rumblings regarding some of the inadequacies for this general location. Don't get me wrong, there are pros and cons for this area in central Jersey, but perhaps the change of venue would be in the cards in the future. Time will only tell, and I surmise we shall have to wait and see. Signed, Jefferson. Let's see, I think last time I was at AnimeNEXT was 2010, and I think that was their first or second year down in that location. And so yeah, no, that can't be the same location. Anyway, but yeah, if their numbers continue to grow like that, they're probably going to have to find a new location or figure out some way to expand it pretty soon. But yeah, I did get numbers from some AnimeNEXT staff, and they're listed on AnimeCons.com with the official attendance number. I believe it was something like 11,910, or was it 11,190? I don't know. There was a 9 in there somewhere and a lot of 1s, but definitely over 11,000, under 12,000. So in that, yeah. But you can look it up on AnimeCons.com, and we get the whole official report, official numbers that finally come in. Anyway, we do have a voicemail, so let me bring that up here. Let's take a listen.
Hey, this is Cody. I'm calling to give a con report for Colossalcon in Sandusky, which was last weekend, and I went, and it was amazing. It was at Kalahari Resort, and there was a water park, so that was cool. John Young Bosch was there and told a story about hitting a homeless woman in the face with a bag of quarters. Get that look off your face. His heart was in the right place. I saw all kinds of cosplay, like Jack Sparrow, who stayed in character for 4 days, which is incredible until you think about the fact that he wore the same clothes for 4 days. And it was a great time. Bye.
Oh, well, thanks for the call. And yeah, I've heard about this convention. It's in a water. The hotel has a water park, the Kalahari Water Park. I think they were an undercover boss. I think that was them. But there's a whole chain of water park hotels, and it seems like a fascinating place to have an anime convention. A lot of fun. But yeah, it definitely sounds like it was a fun convention, and maybe someday we'll get to check one of those out. And but yeah. Anyway, if you're looking for a convention near you, this is the height of the convention season, and there's a ton happening. So here, check out this list of upcoming anime conventions through Labor Day weekend provided by AnimeCons.com. And we've got more content on AnimeCons TV coming up in the next few weeks. Next week, I'm reporting from PortCon. I think everybody else in the podcast that has been around since last year has reported on PortCon, and I haven't because I've always staffed it. And this is the first year in I don't know how long where I haven't been staff on PortCon, so now it's my turn to report on this con. And I'll tell you what I like and what I didn't like, and we'll see how that is because I haven't been yet. But next week, I'll have the report. We've also got Svetlana Shimakova. She's making an appearance and talking with Melissa McCommon about Artist Alley. And Doug is heading out here to California to go to Anime Expo. Of course, he does this when I'm going out to Utah for Nerdtacular. But anyway, we'll hear how he liked Anime Expo, and then a couple weeks after that, I'll tell you about Nerdtacular. And that's all coming up in the next few weeks on AnimeCons TV, so make sure you subscribe. You can do that at itunes.animecons.tv or on YouTube at youtube.com/animeconspodcast, or just watch on our site at animecons.tv. You can also follow us on Twitter at AnimeConsTV and on Facebook at facebook.com/AnimeConsTV and google.com/+AnimeCons. And we're also on Tumblr at animeconstv.tumblr.com. So go ahead and reblog us. We post as soon as the feeds are updated. There's a post on there on Tumblr that lets you know. So follow us there, reblog us, let everybody else know. And we want your voicemails. You can call us at 762-ADEQUATE. That's 762-233-7828. Let us know what you thought of a convention, or just call, leave a funny message. Just tell us what you think about the show. If you're try to keep it like 30 to 60 seconds. If you go longer than that, we may have to cut it, but we'll see. We're looking for convention reports. We're at the height of the convention season, so let us know what's going on in your life, in your convention life. You can also email us at podcast@animecons.tv and send us photos if you want. We can put them up on the screen. Show us what cosplay you've been wearing. Show what some awesome stuff you saw. And so thanks for watching, and you'll see me next week with my PortCon main report. So definitely stay tuned for that. Subscribe. The first email comes from James, the Dark Kiba. I'm going to start over because at itunes.animecons.com or itunes.animecons.tv.